So starting for the day second, we have a panel discussion headed by our moderator and ISTD member, Sid Baliga. We have the elite speakers and panelists over here. I request Sid Baliga to be there on stage. Sir, I welcome you. Please be on the dais. We have the expertise of the industry, academicians, a combination of panelists in today's first panel discussion. That's Dr.Anita Singh, Associate Professor of MS Ramaiah Institute of Management, and Mr. Harish Sharma, CIDO and CSO of Toyota Financial Services, Mr. Chella Pandian, Associate Vice President of Biocon and Biologics, Mr. Sandeep Jainapur, Executive Coach and L&D Consultant of IBM. I invite all of the panelists onto the dais. Dr. Anita Singh comes with a PhD from Bharatiya University, Coimbatore, completed Master in Social Work HR, specialized from Delhi School of Social Work, Delhi University. A postgraduate diploma in Personal Management and Industrial Relation from Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, New Delhi, and Bachelor of Arts Economics Honors from Sri Ram College of Commerce, Delhi University. She also has a Master's in French from EFLU Hyderabad, Diploma Superior from Alliance Française de Bangalore, and a certificate in French from École de Francais Morin, University de Lausanne, Switzerland. Currently working in the Ramaiah Institute of Management, she has 24 years of experience. Her research interests are in social entrepreneurship, mixed methods research strategy, knowledge management, appreciative inquiry, organization development, and cross-cultural research. As a research person, she has delivered enormous talks and seminars to diversified audience on various topics. As a trainer, Anita has conducted several workshops for diversified groups of trainees. She was invited to chair conference sessions in Mount Carmel College, the Indian Academy, and COSMOD, Consortium of Students in Management Research at the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Welcome, madam. One more industry expert, an experienced instructional designer with a proven track record of 10 plus years, certified in user experience and instructional design methodologies, skilled in designing, engaging e-learning courses by collaborating with cross-functional teams globally and incorporating user feedback to improve course design. A passionate individual about coaching and actively working towards ICF accreditation and have a commendable 10-year history as a skilled instructional design. That's none other than Mr. Sandeep Jainapur. Sid is an accomplished professional with 18 years of experience, including 12 years in mid and senior level roles as a vice president of operations at an AI-powered skill development platform. Sid leads large-scale multi-million-dollar projects for enterprise clients, a published writer with numerous articles to his credit. Sid is also passionate about discussing muscle memory's role in skill development with a commendable track record. Sid has worked for the Times of India Group, ICICI, the British Council, and Aptech before taking up his current role as Vice President, Cooperations and Project Delivery at Wani. With professional experience of over 12 years in the education and skill development sector, Sid has gained an in-depth understanding of the industry. He possesses a strong understanding of talent acquisition, team building, operations management, and project delivery. His expertise in these areas has enabled him to lead and manage successful projects as a thought leader and accomplished professional. His interest area lies in leadership development, business strategy, and social impact. He has delivered sessions at IIT Hyderabad, Garden City University, Dayanand Sagar Business Academy, Jagdish Shet School of Management, Acharya Bangalore Business School, Vanguard Business School, Gibbs Business School, Reva University, NMIT, NITTE, Sindhi College, to name a few. He has been performed as a wonderful trainer, facilitator, and mentor. That is the moderator of the day, Mr. Sid Baliga. We have one more elite panelist. He is the Chief Information Digital Officer and Chief Information Security Officer at Toyota Financial Services India and heads digital transformation, information technology, information and cybersecurity functions for the functions for the organization. He is a passionate leader with more than 22 years of experience in banking and financial services industries with a strong track record in setting clear vision, building strategies to realize the vision, leading transformation across the organization, driving business critical initiatives for the organizations. Previously, he was into previous to Toyota Financial Services India. He was with ANZ Group for more than 10 years. He holds Masters in Business Administration from Shifley Business School, Melbourne, Australia, and Bachelor of Engineering from Mysore University. He is our one more panelist, Mr. Harish Sharma. Welcome you, sir.
Okay, for a change, I'll take over from um, Raju and then. So I'll keep it short. My name is Chella Pandian Pichai. I have no connection to Sundar Pichai. I've sent him a LinkedIn invite. I'm waiting for him to accept. Hopefully, he will accept. And got varieties of experience. Sometimes, if I have to describe myself, I don't know where I belong to. I'm a biochemist, becoming a HR, gave up HR in between. Again, HR pulled me back. So, been identity crisis which I'm going through in choosing the career. I think one stage we all become a general managers. Now all those students were, I just met some of the MBA first year students. They walked me to this place. I was asking them, so all excited about choosing a career based on what you choose next year. But I think that's just a starting point. And where do you end depends on many factors. I never thought biochemistry and I'll be sitting here and talking management concepts. So that's my journey, and I worked in different countries, different cities in India, global role. So a lot of tick marks done. Back to hometown to take care of parents. So I'm here and looking forward to an exciting conversation today with a fellow panelist.
It's working.
No, currently I head the diversity, equity, inclusion for the global space of Biocon Biologics, which is a Biocon company. Swami has visited our facility once. And then also I take care of culture and values. And we are the only company in Asia, the second company in the world to have a dedicated function called culture and values, especially for HR students. I don't know whether your curriculum called culture values, Dr.Anita will talk more about it. There is a function called culture and values which is emerging. And we are the only company in India to have a dedicated governance function. So I head that, and of course L&D and talent reports into me. So that's pretty much my role. Over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Oh, thank you for the loud good morning. Yes. Okay, so we have a very interesting topic to start off with and discuss to start the day. Diversity, very commonly discussed, debated in several forums. So what comes across our mind when we think of diversity? Anybody? Anyone from the last row, my favorite rows? Different from the normal. Okay. So in a corporate workplace, when we think of diversity, or even in, let's say, the government workspace, what we think of is having more women in the workplace, right? Get more women, try to recruit more women, so it looks gender balance is maintained. So that's what we commonly think of when we think of diversity. So it means diversity means different things to different people. In my case, let's say I work for an organization where 90% of my staff are women. Okay, so for me, diversity means somehow trying to get men into the workplace. Okay, so it's not about hiring women, it's more about hiring men. So for me, that is what is diversity. From this auditorium perspective, for me, what is diversity is having a mix of youngsters, senior citizens, women, specially abled people, and different kinds of people watching this conference and taking away. So that could be diversity in this context also. So without taking away too much time, I would want the panelists to share their views on what diversity means to each of them. So maybe we can start with Dr. Anita.
Thank you, Sid. Thank you for this wonderful opening. What diversity, I think you had already, opened the conversation, as rightly said, what diversity means to me and to us is having people from different backgrounds who are thinking differently, people with different perspectives, and not just about gender, going much more beyond gender, people with different age diversity, diversity in perceptions, thinking, background, cultural background, in fact, it's talking about bringing cultural values in organizations, specially able people, and even there, I think, we talk about something like, persons with disabilities would be of varied kinds, so not just one, because sometimes it's just easy to have, people with hearing or visual impairment, so that would be easy to have, but, it's probably difficult to have people with different disabilities. So it's about everything, having the pride community and making our workplace much more enriched, So it's not just about diversity, it's also about, we will talk about inclusion when we come to that. Thank you.
For diversity for me means as I work in HR and I find most of people in HR are women. So I usually agree to Sid where he says getting more men on the HR board, right? So that is an diversity for me. Plus getting people with disability, they come with exceptional good leadership qualities and also with allyship, right? So LGBT and promoting their culture, right? So that means an diversity because each one have different perspective. So I usually, look for another perspective before I, when I interact with people, because everyone comes with different background. They carry their own experiences, right? So all that, as an inclusive in workplace makes our life very easy and, productive. Work culture promotes a healthy working environment, right? So I usually like that environment. I like to interact with people from different background, diversification, right? From cultural background also, right? Everyone has different cultural background, so, including them in our team, right? So it brings diversification in our working culture. That's what a diversity means to me. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So silent, huh? 9:30. All of you had breakfast or no? So can I get a slightly better good morning? Good morning? Okay, that's diversity, right? So diversity for me is antithesis of homogeneity, right? What you do normally, having variety to that. See, diversity has social context, economic context, and even the corporate context that we are mostly talking about here. But for each one of us, it starts with us, starts with our family, starts with the community, starts with our organization, and starts with our country. I think that's what we should look at, where we are open for diverse views. We are open for knowing that there's a different perspective for what you think is the truth. So that's how I see it.
Great. So whatever we speak about gender, right? That is one form of the 42 types of diversity dimensions we have. Largely it's into 5 types. Physical, and in that physical, one type is gender. And then one type of gender, if you go, male, female, and gender is not 2. There are multiple genders. So if anywhere we have spoken women, so we are at the one dot of the diversity spectrum. There is so much to do in diversity. So I don't want to talk about that maybe some other time, but the 5 dimensions which you can remember is physical. Physical has gender, gender type, the physical look, all of this comes into this one. Then there is something called societal, right? Third is the cognitive, which talks about perspectives, views, like what my colleagues were saying. Then you have culture, belief, and values. So all of this comes into a chart which has 45 types of diversity to be looked at. But to understand diversity, we need to know what is equity and inclusion. And anyways, we'll touch upon that. But DEI is no more DEI. The future of DEI is DEEIB. Because this has to be expanded. And I'm writing an article on that diversity, equity, equality, inclusion, and belongingness. So that is where it is going, but we'll see if we can talk about it.
Thank you so much for your views. In fact, since Dr. Anita mentioned about disability, that reminded me of a conversation I was having with an expert. So the word disability itself is wrong, although we have started using the word specially abled, differently abled. Disabled is something very, very contextual. For example, there are several species and animals which can see better than us, hear better than us. So which means that from their perspective, we are all disabled. So that word itself is wrong. So let's look at things in a different way, at least from today onwards. So going forward, again, maybe we can start with Dr. Pandian itself, Mr. Pandian itself. We celebrate several days, international days for specially abled and for women and so on in the workplace. So is it becoming something more like a ritual to do this and put it on the chart of things that we have done? Or is it something more that we are doing as organizations, as institutions? Your views about maybe your own workplace and what's happening in the industry in general?
Sure, but your doctor pushes me to complete my PhD. Thank you. I've been delaying that for the last 3 years. It's nice to hear that word, Dr. Pandian. Okay. And another point, disability is not wrong. The reason I'm saying is we have a huge disability force with whom I'm connected. They like to be called disabled. I don't know. So differently able, they say, why are you re-quoting that? I don't know. You've done research on that. The government of India says Disabled Act, Person with a Disability Act. I don't know, but anyways, another time to discuss. So to your question, is that a ritual? Yes, but it is required. The problem I face with my organization is we are progressing very well in terms of bringing the diversity, and a lot of diversity is organically in place, right? From the last 40 years, if you look at Biocon, organically it had that inclusive mindset, and we didn't have a DEI team, but we had a lot of diversity. The one diversity which we were struggling was about physical diversity. When I say physical, it also includes gender, people with disability, and all the other factors like pride, and so all this we didn't have. So the big elephant in the room is men and women. That is why companies are focusing on women. So whilst we might say companies, when we say diversity, we are all talking about women, because that's a big elephant in the room. So we have to talk about, we can't hide that, we can't push that under the carpet, right? That's the big issue. So we are calling it out. Yes, diversity means women. Let's come to an equal workplace, then we will move to the other genders. Today we are not, right? So hence, the rituals are important. Unless you don't call out, people will forget it, ignore it. Because in a way, it is one gender-dominated world. So there is a need for this. And in fact, my colleagues come and ask, why are we doing so much on women workforce? I said, you can ask this, and they also call it as it's a discrimination that you're focused more on women leadership development, Women's Day, where is Men's Day? I said, this question we can ask, we will become eligible to ask the day we are equal. Right? We are not equal. We are one-sided. It's unfair to come and ask, why are we having Women's Day? Because there is no enough women participation in the workplace, right? So that's why. So that I think it's important.
Same question? Simple answer, yes. But I agree with my colleague here is that, see, this is change management thing, right? We don't change so easily. We don't accept change easily. We have been brought up in a particular way. We have been around in a certain environment which has actually conditioned in a particular way. So for us to be able to change that is not an easy. And it's a slow but a continuous process. So rituals are also part of it, but they are not sufficient. For me, it should be at the core of the organization, right from the top. The management, the leadership should believe truly into that in terms of diversity or equity or inclusion. And then everything else from a structure, whether it's policies or frameworks or people or hiring, talent management, would all come along with it. Then there will be a change, but in a slower pace.
Sandeep, would you like to add something?
Yeah.
Or Dr.
Yeah. So to add to Harish's point, when he said change management, right? So change management, we all, give rebuttals. We are not open to the change. That's my experience, because I usually work with PSUs. They are not so easy to accept the changes, right? So as Harish said, it has to come from a top management. They have to believe. When I started my career, there was no concept called LGBT allyship, and then after 2 years, it all started. That's how the organization started to implement. And, they started to believe, the top management started to believe, and they started to promote, That's when, each one of us believe, then only it will start, going into the organization. And then we see the change gradually. Now we have moved a point from, believing in allyship. Now we are celebrating their, days and, giving them equal opportunity in all the work areas. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I agree that, it's one of those checklists that one has, calendar of events. But as, all my co-panelists have said, it is important. It also builds a culture in the organization, and it is also a way of sensitizing, the rest of the organization, a way of saying that, yes, it is important for us and we are going to go ahead with it. And it is all driven by the top management. I have been, out of my academic interest, I have been studying ANZ, the bank in Bangalore, and I have been seeing that this initiative is driven by right from the top, the managing director, Mr. Venkatraman, and that's how it comes down. So if it is not driven by the top, it will not. So it's again, it is in the disabilities, sector, persons with disabilities. Though when we do the academic writing, we talk about the specially able. So this is where we see that it is not just about hiring persons who are differently able, but another way of sensitizing the organization members is about having these events. And also they have events, other events where they get speakers who are persons who are specially abled, and so on. So these are all ways of sensitizing the employees and also getting them engaged and involved in the organizations. It's very important, rather than just hiring and so that they can work along with other people, along with each other. They can work more comfortably with each other. So I think it's important to have them.
I think very valid points. In fact, these rituals also maybe somehow change the mindset of people over a period of time when you do this over and over again within the organizations, having special days dedicated to people. Great. So taking this a little forward, Dr. Anita, since this is your domain again, we've spoken about diversity having subsets of, let's say, specially abled people, women, other genders as well. But when it comes to accessibility to trainings and all, so again there is a challenge, and I would say a variance in the way people access, maybe cultural differences, or it could be differences in the way technology can be accessed by people. So what are your views on that?
What I have been, seeing around, that the government is encouraging a lot. In fact, they are asking entrepreneurs to take up, to start, have their companies, startups in assistive technology. So this is, the government driven, and it is encouraging incubators to take up. In fact, I think in 2022, the incubator in IIM Bangalore has invited entrepreneurs, have invited them, and they are willing to incubate entrepreneurs who have startups in assistive technology. So it's seen that, there's a lot of encouragement around it. So people, all those entrepreneurs who, are looking for opportunities, there's always opportunities. So this is one. And talking about learning assistive technology, I think many of us, we should all start in a big way, but hats off to some of the premier institutions across India. Many of the IIMs have taken up. IIM Bangalore itself, is doing it in a big way. I think way back from 2009, so much earlier. They have an, DNI office. Similarly, IIM, IIM Kozhikode has done, I think, from 17 to 20, students with disabilities they have. So assistive technologies, it's not just about physical access, but also access to teaching and, reference, e-resources, and that's where web content accessibility is playing a big role. So I think these are some of the things that is helping students, join mainstream organizations, institutions, even the premier ones. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So let me take this to Mr. Pandian. So Dr. Anita spoke about a lot of things happening in the assistive technology space, a lot of institutions investing money in research and entrepreneurs trying to take it forward. So is it too early right now, or is it still already implemented in the industry? How widespread is it? How comfortable are people, especially abled people or people from different genders, able to use learning resources using these technologies?
Yeah, a lot of companies in our country are focusing on, especially the global organization, because it's there for many years. Just that of late we started talking about DEI a lot more than in the past. But that doesn't mean that DEI was not there. Some of us, we didn't call it out, but organically we are doing. Like one example, my company I was talking. And the other organization in India, which is global in nature, every country is doing, so automatically it cascades to India. So there has always been a focus, and organizations like Enable India, there are a lot of people who are specifically focused on PWD, and not only they're helping you to recruit, but also they're helping you to create an environment for you. So they're more of a prescriptive or a consulting approach. So many companies do that, focused only on dealing with PWD. And there are a lot of inclusive audit firms have come, and individuals, freelancers who are subject matter expert, who come and help you to assess the infrastructure. Unfortunately, what happened is some of the organization which is in existence for a long time, and especially if it is a manufacturing setup, right? Hundreds of acres, you would have built a facility, but you would have done it 40 years back, 50 years back. You wouldn't have thought of inclusive. From one point in time, I will have PWD coming in, so I need to create an access for them. So today it's all a little bit of modification for wheelchair to go in, but that's not enough, right? We are talking about many other dimensions of PWD. So hence, organizations are doing a bit of modification, but all new buildings are becoming PWD enabled. In fact, malls, it's all PWD enabled. Many of the malls newly built, bus stops, train stations, all are coming from even government side. I think it's a good welcome change. A lot of companies are focusing on this. It's a good sign from the perspective of the future.
That's interesting and good to know. Taking this forward to Harish and Sandeep, how are things being implemented, the technologies being implemented in your respective organizations or in industries? And what are the key metrics to measure whether we are really making any strides or progress there in terms of easy access to resources, learning methods, so that even people from different genders and specially abled people are able to upskill themselves and gun for opportunities that are available?
See, technology, I think we have understood, has been a great leveler, right? And I think it is for us to be able to use this appropriately to make a difference in this space, right? Many technologies already exist, but are they being really applied in various use cases? It is not so much, to be honest. But has the start been made? Absolutely, right? Now you have technologies which can really help people with disability to read, right? Because speech is there, right? We got mobile phones which have these softwares all across. Now we can, translation is there because disability is also about not able to understand a language, right? So we have people across India, and people from north cannot understand the language from the south, right? So but now automatic translation that happens, right? Now with virtual infrastructure for training, I think all these things are now enabled. Are they utilized fully? I do not see that much, but the start has been made. But I feel this is just a start in this journey where technology is going to be leveraged to create opportunities for people with variety of backgrounds to be able to access this kind of learning content. So I think it's just a start, and I see a bright future, honestly.
Yeah. To add to Harish's point, I don't see universities actually implementing that, because I had an opportunity to work with Texas University. I was designing their e-learning, distance learning programs, and it was back in 2010. Okay, that time they had implemented all this for differently abled persons. How do you read images? How do you read text? But I don't see any of the e-learning companies in India doing that, right? So that is being implemented in universities. If we start that from in our universities, then definitely we will see a change, right? Coming to the industry perspective, it is technology is there, everything is already there, okay? But if we don't start it from our universities and schools, colleges, right? So we don't see that happening. So right now in industry it is there, but I don't see that much of encouragement is given to that.
So you suggest that we should start early on in university and school?
Yes, because that is already been implemented in US, Canada, because I had that opportunity to look through that, right? So I have in India, if I talk about Simply Learn, Edureka, I don't see that happening. These are all e-learning companies, right? So I don't see that happening.
So interesting points. Some notes that I've made. One was about women in positions where they can influence young minds, and also in positions of authority. For example, faculty members, teachers, and also in HR, where we see a lot of concentration of women. So that was one point. Second, although a lot of these days, international days for women or especially abled, we consider them as rituals. These are required rituals to change a mindset and slowly start thinking in that direction. Third, a lot of technology is being developed so that learning and accessibility for specially abled people becomes easier. A lot of research is going on in that, and a lot of entrepreneurs are taking up this to scale up and make it more commercially viable. Business case, some of the panelists felt there is a strong business case to have people from different genders and also specially abled people, and definitely we see an impact on the business and top line. Diversity brings a lot of additional value as well in terms of perspectives, so that could make a workplace very interesting and to work along with different kinds of people. So with that, I thank all my panelists. Thank you so much for your contribution today.
Once again, it was a qualitative and wonderful session. Some humor will also be there. I was just observing the panelists are in the fresh mood in the early morning with the humor attitude. And it's a good start. What we have gone with this discussion. Now, I call upon Mr. Koteshwar Rao, Assistant Vice President of Human Resources, Regenta Group's Hotels, and Mr. Amalan Kumar Das Gupta, Vice President of Skill Development, Presidency College of Hotel Management. Both the allied members, people are from hospitality industry. We request you, sir, to do some pleasantry tasks to the panelists. Please be on dais. Thank you, Amilan sir. Thank you, Koteshwara Rao sir.